Hello, everyone. I am Angelina Mojica, wishing you some good vibes. This is your Good Morning Minute. With me, I have Daniela, who is going to talk about creating a life that you desire. And what am I talking about creating a life? I'm talking about you have the right and the potential to shape your life in any way that reflects what you truly desire, empowering you to do so by taking the tools, the knowledge, support, and confidence that you need to take charge of your life. And when we do so, we have the ability to influence the course of our lives forever. So I will go ahead and welcome our guest, Daniela, and I'll go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Angelina. Thanks for having me today.
Yes.
Um, so my name is Daniela. I'm Italian. I've been living in Melbourne, Australia, for over 10 years now. And it's been of a bit of a journey. So when I see this topic, I say, am I able to say something about it?
Well,
So
I'm so excited to hear what you have to say.
yeah,
So,
so just a little, yeah, sorry.
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. You're good. Sorry.
Just a bit of a background about me. I'm freelancer media coordinator by trade. So as I'm freelancing and I work for TV production and TV show. Sometimes I have my on and off time where I can do other fun things. And so on the side, I actually run an online distribution business which I've been doing with the help of actually a mentoring program. So they've been helping me in life and business to shape myself, the person that I've become, and everything that I know, apparently.
Well, that's great because then you definitely know how to talk about creating a life that you deserve for sure. What would you say, Daniela, are some of the key steps that women can take to start creating a life that they desire?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, I would like to have a little bit of reverse engineering.
Mhm.
So the things what they taught are in school or what our parents say to us is, what do you want to do when you're growing up? You know, and they say we want to, I don't know, and the kids they're just crazy and say like, I mean, not crazy, like they have the right passion and it's like, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a singer, I want to sail I don't know, like, for 6 months or anything. I want to do I want to explore, I want to actually do archaeology. So yeah, and my mom actually she wasn't very negative about that, which is good. But then we grow up and just things are just um become different. Like we still go to school and we just realize that uh our what we can achieve is, the standard jobs, and nothing wrong with the standard job. I'm not here to put down any jobs, but I'm just saying make sure that this is your path, that is actually what you want to do in life. So yeah, basically, we also get influenced by what other people do around us, and we don't want to be different. So this is also put us in the wrong trajectory. This is the reality of the things, and we are very lucky if we actually end up to doing something that we love. And yeah, another thing that I want to say is I would like to challenge your friends of the podcast
Mhm.
with the question: how do you actually want to live?
Mm.
How do you want to spend your day? How do you feel fulfilled about a life
Mhm.
that you want to create? So yeah, I think that is the main question that we should ask to ourselves to actually creating a life that we deserve, but creating a life that we want. Creating a life that we deserve, it's in us. So the deserve is actually come from, confidence and self-belief. we,
Mhm.
we can talk a bit later about this.
Yes.
Would you like me to share something with you?
Yeah, do. Please, please do.
Okay, so as actually I was reading this book of Stephen Covey, and it's about the book is actually named title the highly habit of not the seven habit of highly effective people. I haven't read it for a while, so I have to remember the name. But basically, in one of these chapter, he challenged the reader to an experiment, and the experiment is inviting the reader to close their eyes and travel themselves to a time that you probably will never witness yourself. And it is your funeral. Uh, you are there sitting on your funeral, and the question that Stephen asked is, how would you like the vibe would be? How would you like the people? How many people do you want to be in your funeral? And what do you want that, the priest is gonna, sort of introduce you as you
Mm-hmm.
just passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And then when there is the time of your family and your friends and your colleagues, they that they are coming to invited to speak, what would you like them to say about you? And we can try to have a perfect life, but
Mm-hmm.
the reality is that we can't control everything. We can't control what other people think about us, but we can control our input. So what I'm trying to say is, if for example you think that your children, they will say, well, it wasn't around much, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe in this era actually of technology, we are around, we are in the space, but doesn't mean that we are actually present. So even just do a little tweak and just put the phone down and spend
Mm-hmm.
the time with our kids, it make a huge impact, especially for the memory. And
Mm. Yeah.
another thing that I invite um, to think about, and Stephen did the same. It's like, colleagues and people that you are around with. How would you like them to remember you? If you're a person that going to work pretty, um, negative or like tired, or and you don't exchange conversation with the colleagues, then they might not have the best memory of you. So just wherever you are, light the room, bring the energy, and yeah, just invite to do good.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is at the end of it all, at the end of your life journey, what impression do you want to leave behind?
That's right.
You know, and that's a really good question to ask. I mean, if you're starting to look at your life and you look at the results that you see before you today, and
Yeah,
you're not happy with what you see, then that's the question to ask. That's the question to go back and say, hey, what do I want to leave behind? What do I want people to say when I'm no longer here? And it's a strong question because it really has you to
absolutely.
self-reflect and be very honest with yourself. You also mentioned imagination. Children, when we're children, we have unlimited imagination. I can be a doctor, I can be an astronaut, I can do this or do that. And as we start going into uh, school and education and more influences start coming into our life, it tends to limit that imagination. It almost ceases and dries up. What do you think are some of those barriers that do that to our imagination? Because as adults, we don't really utilize that part of our brain anymore. Why do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think that the personal barrier that we have and the social barrier that we on ourselves,
Mhm.
um, they um, they are one of the main cause of not living a life that we desire, because we just say, "Who do you think am I to do that?" Like, and
Mhm.
then we just start to believe that it's not possible for us, and then we get it influenced by, even I remember back in my day, television, and you just think that, those people are different of us, and they are the one that they have the power, they are the one that are successful, they are the one that were happy. And especially if in our reality, we have things that confirming us that we actually not where we're supposed to be, then
Mhm.
this belief that we are not the lucky one, it's getting stronger and stronger. But the good news is that this can change any minute, any time. It can
Okay.
change today, right? It
Uh-huh.
can
Uh-huh.
change.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I just invite people to start, thinking differently. Again, reverse the mechanism. Start reading books. Start listening podcasts of strong women, and actually listen carefully, because most of the time, who create a life of impact, a life that they want to live, they are the people that they move from a situation of uncomfortable, that they don't
Mhm.
want to be there anymore, and they
Mhm.
just want to grow, and they want to change, and they want to believe, and they want to and most of the time, like, they just been surrounded by the right people. So if your crowd, it puts you down,
Mhm.
just move on. Go for someone that it's more uplifting, that can believe in you, that someone that already been there, maybe on your situation that you have right now.
Okay. So I hear what you're saying, and you're like, okay, if it's not working for you, then just move forward. But that's so easier said than done.
Yeah,
How, what kind of, what role does self-belief and confidence play in taking control of your destiny? Because I believe that you have to believe within yourself to make those changes. Because if you're in your comfort zone and this is my circle,
yeah,
I have to leave relationships. I have to leave friends behind sometimes family members.
yeah.
And it may be harder than it sounds. And it is harder for
It
some
is.
people. So what kind of belief system do I have to build in order to break away from those situations and build a network that is going to be conducive to the results I want to see in my life?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
This is a great question, and it's not an easy answer, right? There's so many way that we can take this, and I
Yeah.
think we just take it in to make it more feasible for everyone. We just take it
Hmm.
into a direction. One is more like practical, and
Hmm.
one it's more holistical.
Okay.
So, um, I would say that the first step is start with us. So unfortunately, we if we are not ready to receiving, we won't be able to receive. We are a wall. We have like a wall, and it's like, you don't know me, like you don't understand me, like I'm not good enough, like I'm not talented as you are. What do you think I am? Like,
Hmm.
I've never reached my goal before. What do you think I
Yeah.
change now? And sometimes we actually feel like we are not loved or no respect, which is even stronger
Hmm.
as a belief that, I'm thinking you're more talented than me. So what we do a self-analysis here. And unfortunately, that is really the only way. And we need to do a bit of a pet talk as well. Like, tell us, okay, what are the things they actually am doing well? you know what are the things that I can that I've been doing so far, that I'm actually doing quite well, or I'm proud of. We all have, like, even if we need to dig very, very deep, there will be something in that. So I
Hmm.
actually would invite people to do a self-analysis, get one of these 100 questions, and just go there and just like dig deep and find what actually are your strengths. There's actually even, like, this personality quiz or things like that, this test where you can find out what are your strengths,
Mhm.
and you can find out what are your weaknesses. Actually, I'm gonna share with you about something personal. When I started my journey with the mentoring group, I got invited to start a test of personality, and the personality was actually the 4 personality plus, which is divided by 4, and we are usually 2 or 3 of the
Mm.
personality, just in different ratio. So there was like a choleric, and there was then I can explain what they are. So choleric, sanguine, melancholic, and phlegmatic. Choleric is they get the things done, but also they're a little bit, strong. They come a little bit strong to people. Then you got the melancholic, that they are very deep and great listener, but they're a little bit meticulous. Like they just a bit more perfectionist than a normal, personality.
Mhm.
Then there is a sanguine, which has quite of a like a friendly approach all the time, light up the room, talk to everyone, but then it's forgetful, and
Mhm.
it just do things. It's a bit indisciplined, not very organized.
Mhm.
And then you got the last one, which is phlegmatic, which they love peace and love. They love just chill, and they're
Mhm.
great to do that. And I wish I was a little bit like this, which I'm not. But and then but the other end, they're a bit lazy. So they don't follow through on things, they
Mm.
take time, they take a lot of energy to do stuff. So like when I find out my personality,
Uh-huh.
which is sanguine and choleric, which you probably would expect, um, yeah, I free up myself from things that I found out that I need to work on,
Uh-huh.
and I need to be kind to myself and understand that things that are not in my personality, I would have probably struggled with.
Mm.
So rather than focusing on my weakness, I was focusing on my strength,
Mhm.
and that's how I grow the person that I am now.
Mhm.
And and then yeah, I started like rewrite my story and give a lot of grace to myself.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
that's I would invite people to do that. What do you think, Angelina, is your personality?
Oh goodness. I've taken so many of those tests. But I can definitely tell you what my strengths are. Uh, I like order. I like compliance. I'm a achiever, so I will be very mission focused, and I have that dedication. But on the other side of it too, I yeah, I can be too focused on mission or purpose or goals that I forget self-care. I forget those
Yeah.
other components of having that balance in life. And I'm the person, and people that work with me can say this is so true. I'm a get to the point type of person. Like get to the point. And I tell it very, this is what it is. And so sometimes that can be, misconstrued as far as, well, she doesn't like me, or she's in a mood or something, but it's not. It's just I'm trying to get to that goal, and I've got to focus. And so that's really what it is. But so I understand what you're saying. And what I'm hearing, the overall theme that I'm hearing from this is, you have to have a self-awareness. You have to
Yes.
understand who you are. Um, and that way you can operate in those strengths, those things that bring you joy, the things that make you happy, the things that revive your energy. Because if you're
Yeah.
pulling so much from the other side of things that you just aren't engaged with or don't bring you the happiness, then you're not going to be satisfied. You're not going to have that job satisfaction or whatever it is. Uh, So how do you build self-awareness? I mean, you talked about the test and learning your strengths and also working. I mean, I think we all have to work on those areas of development. I don't call them weaknesses. I call them areas of development. They're under construction is what what they are. Only
Definitely.
because I try to operate from a positive perspective in the sense that we have the abilities that we have. Now, some abilities are under construction and need to be worked on a little bit more so that we can have that. But I mean, definitely your strengths play a big part and a big component in that. Um,
Yeah.
so
That's
then,
right. Yes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
actually, yeah, I totally agree with what you say. And I would add on to it, your biggest struggle will always be your biggest victory. So the thing that you're struggling the
yes.
most,
Uh,
it's actually the thing that it will make the shift. That thing that they actually gonna give you that power. So if we talk about self-confidence and power, in fact, yeah, I liked your under construction,
yeah.
but work on them because that's what they actually bring you to the next level, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what the reality is. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what the magic is. So don't avoid that. Don't only focus on your strength,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on what actually you need to work on because the strength is there. Like you can obviously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
work more on them, especially at the beginning when you start to like develop and grow and you build up yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the magic is on the under construction trades that needs to be
Yes.
addressed.
Very true.
And yeah, I think another thing that I want to say on this topic is actually like we are not alone. I have a
Mm-hmm.
background on Christian and Catholic
Mm-hmm.
religion, and I'll just invite everyone to find their own high power, whether it's God, it's a high sources, or
Mm-hmm.
any other entity that they believe in, Allah, Buddha, any of them, because yeah, we are in this world and we are blessed to be here. And there is a
Mm-hmm.
reason why we're here, and it's for do good. And if we just lean in, um, we will find the strength. So we
Oh,
can't rely
yes.
on it, but we do need to have it.
I agree. I think we definitely need a foundation of some type of spiritual um enrichment in our life because without it we tend to falter. And for me, that's Christianity. I operate under those beliefs and ideals, but also too it's not just a belief system, because that's a lot of identity. People wrap around in their identity when it comes to the belief system. And if you have a solid spirituality and that enrichment in your life, then there's something else that's feeding into you that's going to help you build that confidence, because externally we may not have those. We may even be in a place where we don't have a circle of support,
Yeah,
friends, family, or things that we may be coming from a situation where we don't have that. And the only thing we do have is that spiritual grass. And so again, that is also too feeding your self-talk, and it's feeding that belief system that you have about who you are. It's
that's
helping
right.
you look at your situations, whatever struggles you're going through, and saying, you know what, I still have the ability to overcome that. And that's where your confidence builds up. And then the more you tell yourself, nah, this is just just a moment in time. It's not my life.
Yeah,
Then you can get through it. I
absolutely.
definitely believe that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would like to invite you, listener, to actually do a little exercise on this topic, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Just a very quick one.
Okay.
So when I wanna elevate the way I think, the way I act, the way I do things, I ask myself a question, and it is, what my highest version of myself will do in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you are thinking not on the situation that you are now, the person that you believe you're now, but the person that you want to believe, that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Which means that if that is the exercise, more you act on the person that you want to be, and more
Mm-hmm.
you become the person that you want to
Mm-hmm.
be. So yeah, this is
Yes, I
the
like
trick.
that. I like that because it's the way I've learned it. You've heard, I mean, I'm sure people have heard fake it till you make it. It's kind of taking that
Yep,
idea. You're utilizing your imagination. You're going back into that imagination of, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be an astronaut, but it is what it is. I want to be a nicer person. I want to make friends, whatever it is. Okay, well, what is that person you visualize? You're using your imagination, you're connecting those things, and you're like, okay, so what does a nicer person look like to you? And how do you be, and so you work it backwards. So then now how do I encompass that that image that I just created? What does
that's
she
right.
what does she look like? How does she wear her hair? What does she say? How does she, what are her facial expressions? What are her nonverbals? How does she dress? You know, um, and that's how the shift starts to change because you see
That's
it,
right.
it's like you see it in the future there, and you pull it back into the present so that you can start working with it like that.
Exactly. And then your mind start to believe it. And so like you
Mm-hmm.
start to create those new self-belief.
Mm, yeah. So then, Naila,
Yes.
what resources and support systems do you think are essential when we as women are aiming to take control of our destinies?
Okay, this is actually my answer is gonna be a relief for you.
Okay.
That's what I think everybody will say. Oh, thanks God, I don't have to be all, you know? So exactly, you just need to show up. Like you just need to find people that you wanted to be around with
Mm-hmm.
and just show up. Show up imperfectly. Show up with your little belief that you have, things that you have, own what you have,
Mm-hmm.
and they link harm. So actually I want to do a little analogy and
Sure.
imagine like this redwood forest. All of those trees that are so tall and you think imagine, oh my God, they must have huge roots, like so long, so strong,
Mm-hmm.
underneath. And then they actually find out that the roots are actually really small in
Mm-hmm.
compare of the tree. But the strength is that all these roots, they are all interconnected
Mm-hmm.
between each trees. So those trees under the root, under the leaf, they kind of like linking arms. And that is
Mm-hmm.
your system, that is your support. And you might grow your roots as long as you go into the journey and creating more strength and self-belief, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't start from there. And I think as soon you have a system that you want to be plugged in, for me it was the mentorship. I found that I just show up and start learning. And I was frustrated, things that didn't come as I wanted straight away because I have a lot to go through. I had a lot to like you know, um, yeah, I'll give a bit of a background. So I came here 10 years ago with no English, with a
Mm-hmm.
dysfunctional relationship that was just pushing me down and down. And luckily, I was, you know what? I have enough of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back home. I did my own things. I recharged. I see my family. And then I came back onto the fight. I came back to Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
And I start to figure it out on my own, like, and
Mm-hmm.
at the time I actually didn't have my group, and it wasn't pretty the first year, no, absolutely. I wasn't not doing personal development. It wasn't nothing like, but slowly, what we're talking about, stuck in the wins. This went well. Oh, this actually went well. And then I start to like volunteering for film production, and then I start, like um, take some experience that they created a long curriculum for me that I
Mm-hmm.
was able to land a job that I wanted to with
Mm-hmm.
a broadcasted like one of like the bigger broadcast here in Australia, which is called Channel 9.
Mm,
Anyway, so it's sort of like, we're sort of like we have to thrive, and we just have to stack our wins and
mm,
believe in ourselves, but then looking for support, because then I arrived to a point that I just have a lead and I didn't know where to go. And I didn't,
mhm.
and the reason why I came to this podcast, because exactly I wasn't not living a life that I want to live. So after 5 years that I was, adjusting myself a little bit, I met my husband, which is, was obviously, a great additional to my life. But it literally, it was when I started to link arm with people that they were a little bit far from me. They had result, and
Mhm.
they helped me um, to like understand, that I could have think differently. And if I
Yes.
think differently, I could have better things. And not
Mm,
material things, but like fulfillment in my life.
mm. Yes, so true, so true. And I like that you said linking up with people that were a little further ahead of me, because if you really want to learn, because I mean, we may be making a total life change like yourself, a total life shift where I was operating under this one situation and now I want to go into a completely different situation, but I have no knowledge or perspective of that
That's
idea. So
right.
I have to bring in those people that can connect me, that I can actually see doing the job so I can learn and learn how to apply it into my life. I love that. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
All right, Daniela, anything else you want our listeners to know? Where can we get in contact with you if we have people out there that are like, I need to know more about this. I need to get in connection with her. Tell us.
Yeah, so I actually took a little bit of a break from my freelancing because it was like burying me, and I also want to develop more like my online presence, so I can reach out more people to, sort of they are on the same journey that they wanna they need some help to change the trajectory of their life. They need to think differently. So I don't have my website yet, but I can definitely send you something once it's ready. But yeah, they can reach me out on my Instagram account or my Facebook account. And yeah, that it's at the moment what is about me in
Okay.
terms of like, marketing myself.
Yes, yes, we are all about that. Well, everyone, I want to thank you so much. Thank you again, Daniela, for your time and the energy that you brought to the podcast. All right, everyone, you know who I am. I'm Angelina Mojica, your life coach, sending you much love, much peace, many blessings.